Hi, everybody. My name's Joe K. It's Joe K Music, and welcome to another day in the underground. I am here with a very special guest. He goes by the name Mosarie. Mosarie, welcome to the show, man. Glad to have
What's
you
go
on.
What's going on, Joe? Thanks for having me.
Let's go ahead and start with where your interest came in music to begin with. Tell us a little about your upbringing around music, when you started getting interested, what music maybe you were interested in just listening to, and then what genres did you start to actually start making music for?
Well, I've always been into music. I've always loved music. I've always wanted to be involved with and create music. I wasn't actually super into hip hop and rap like a lot of people were first coming up. I kind of missed that. It just wasn't played a lot in my household. Um, so I started kind of my earlier taste palette of music was basically rock, and then that evolved into heavier styles of like hardcore, post-hardcore, stuff like that. For lack of a better term, screamo, because I'm sure some people don't know what hardcore and post-hardcore means.
Dude,
Um,
so when I think of hardcore, one of my friends and kind of we're kind of acquaintances from high school, super into the hardcore scene. And all I remember is him going to shows and just punching the crap out of people and getting the crap beat out of them.
that's great.
And that's like that was like a successful time, like that's like a
Yeah.
good show.
Oh, that was a win for sure. Yeah, so that was my thing for like the longest. So actually when I got into rap, some people were like, "Whoa," like that was kind of weird for some people. But I was in a couple cover bands here and there, nothing super serious. I wanted to get more involved, but that just never happened. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
when you were in cover bands, like what role did you play in those bands?
I tried to yell my heart out and scream, but I don't think in retrospect I don't have any recordings of any of that stuff that I ever
Uh
did. So I wouldn't even know how to say if I was any good or not. I wanted to be, that's for damn sure. I know that. But that wasn't in the cards. I got some home. I know a couple people personally who do that stuff. And it's just, looking back, I'm just like, I don't know how I even thought I could do that. Cause like, that's a whole different, but eventually, things happened in my life, and I eventually started using, drugs and shit like that, and ended up kind of going down kind of like a dark path, doing some shit that I probably didn't shouldn't do. Ended up in and out of jail, juvie to jail actually. Um, and I'll never forget, my lawyer basically told me that like I need to like dig myself in a hole and stay there, or I'll end up dead. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna do that. So I basically locked myself in my basement and figured out shit to do. And one of those things ended up being writing. And there was a bunch of other series of events that led to a setup, which ended up just being, a computer, a Focusrite, and an AT&T 2020 microphone. The super beginner
nice.
setup. You know,
Yeah.
um, so
When when
I
did when did that start? Like when did you like give
that
us kind of
was
a reference point?
so things went south probably when I was like 16, 17, and I was probably fucked up until I was about 18, 19. And right around then, so that's about 10 years ago, I'm 28. Um, I started writing, and I I didn't even at the time it didn't even register to like save up money and like go to a professional studio to record. And I was already a fan of Hobson, so I was like, I'm gonna buy this shit and do it myself because that's how he's doing it. He was Hobson was my introduction into underground rap. To me, I was one of them people that was super anti-mainstream for like the longest, and it took me a really long time to open up and accept and widen my palette. But so I ended up going through notebooks and notebooks of just feelings, and then poems, and then songs, and I was like, I need to hear how these sound. Bought some equipment, learned how to set it up, use it, and then I recorded a couple songs, and I was like, wow, these are awful. And I kept but I wanted to do it, you know. I
Yeah,
knew they
yeah.
were, I knew they were bad, you know. Like if I could find my first song sounded like a person just kind of like quietly, like awkwardly talking over piano. It was just like it was the worst thing imaginable. Like
I
I'm
mean,
telling you.
most songs aren't the greatest when they're first starting, you know. I mean, everyone starts somewhere, you know. So
Yeah,
it's interesting you talk about like Hobson being your introduction to like underground hip hop, because like that same time period, like literally 10 years ago, 2010,
yeah,
that's when I started like discovering underground hip hop, and it was like
yeah.
him and Prince E was out at the time,
Sure, yeah.
and Anomaly, like a couple of these other like underground guys that were just coming up at the time, and
Hmm.
starting to make some noise, and like it was a different kind of rap from what I always thought rap was. You know
I
what I
agree
mean?
entirely.
So
My specific introduction to Hobson, someone showed me the "Sag My Pants" video, and I lost my mind. I kept making music, and you know, like I said, I've always been visual with it. So once I kind of got over the hump of kind of deciding if I was going to keep making music or not, or keep trying to make music, I should say, I was like, that's when I asked my parents for whatever camera that they had, which was some 720p little camera like this big. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
um, you know, my dad, he used to do. Have you ever been to like a NBA game or like any
yeah,
professional sports game? They got the big four-sided thing at the top. I'm not really sure what the correct terminology is for
yeah.
it, but
The
it
the
shows.
jumbotron.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um, he would do like all like his company that he used to work for. They would design all the animations and stuff for the Pistons and stuff. So like they
Oh,
used to have
nice,
like these machines that would like break the wall and bricks would fall and stuff like that. So my dad kind of had some background as far as like video production and stuff like that goes, and he actually had an old copy of Premiere that he had from the company, and he let me download it, and then that's how I got into video. So I just kind of went with that, and eventually
nice,
I grew out of that and got the official version of Premiere, and kind of upgrading, and I took a laptop and a Focusrite and a microphone, and I eventually actually I this where I'm sitting right now like didn't used to have walls or a ceiling,
wow,
and it was actually kind of gross down here, to be honest with you. I recently I got some people. I can't take full credit because I'm not that hands-on. I'm not that good with my hands. I can't do everything myself. But you know, I got the walls done up down here, and I made my studio nice and made it a
nice.
place that I can work. So,
So I want to take it a step. I want to take it a step back and kind of talk a little bit about what was it like to your friends. So you mentioned you were in like that hardcore kind of rock, scene for a while.
yeah.
How did your friends react when you told them like, "Hey guys, like instead of doing this like screamo band, I'm gonna start like writing raps." Like, what was their response to that, and like, what did they say to
Um,
you?
so I think part of the reason why I was never, I don't want to say fully accepted, but just like I never really made a lot of friends within that community, within the hardcore rock community. Like I was always super into it, and I would go to the shows that had the artists or bands that I wanted to see. But I think in retrospect, because a lot of those people from that scene, you know, some of them would drink and stuff like that. But at least from, you know, in Michigan and stuff like that, the scene here, a lot of it, the people didn't really use drugs, and in fact, it was kind of like looked down upon. Like if you smoked or did anything else like that, it was kind of like. And so maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I was just weird and awkward. Maybe I don't know. But so that wasn't my group of friends were what has always been small. I've never had the I've always been known like a lot. I've always kind of been like cool, like you know, with people like, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
but like
with
never like, you know, like a high school type shit. You like I'd be cool
mm-hmm.
with like everybody, but I would never really hang out with anybody out of school except like a very
Oh
select
man, I
handful.
I feel that. I,
You know what I
I
mean?
feel that. Yeah, yeah.
So um so it wasn't really too much of an issue when I kind of switched genres. Really, what the real issue was when I actually started rapping. That was when people were like, "What is you doing?" Because I was always known for just the dude that I love. My favorite part about that music is like the breakdowns and the heavy parts. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the part that shit gets my blood going. And so when I started rapping, people, I'm sure they took it as a joke. And my first couple songs really were pretty bad. So I'm pretty sure it made it easy to follow that assumption up with, "Oh, he's trash. This is trash," like, or whatever the assumptions that people made.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is what it is, and everybody goes through those, transition phases. Anytime they're switching genres too, or just starting something new, and it's kind of a shock to their
Yeah.
friends and family. They're kind of like, "What the heck's going on with this guy?" Who were some of the like musical influences, like you mentioned, like rock and um, stuff. Like what were some influences from that genre, and then what were some of the other influences? I know you mentioned Hobson in particular, but who were some of the rap influences? It could be mainstream, underground, like anybody.
Um, so one of my favorite bands that, as a kid growing up, before I started to get heavy, was Sugar Ray. I remember it was the first concert that I ever went to. My parents took me to see Sugar Ray. I can't remember any of their songs right now, but that was the type of vibe that I was into. And I don't know what band I discovered first, if it was Mudvayne or Linkin Park, but one of those two bands was the transition where I kind of went from like lighter, kind of just regular rock to like harder. Even though that stuff isn't, Linkin Park and Mudvayne isn't really heavy, but that's where the transition started. So both of those bands, Linkin Park is probably my favorite band of all time, in my
Yeah,
opinion. I think the amount of influence that they had over me is just insane.
so you
Mudvayne,
must have been pretty tore up then with all the like Chester stuff, and
oh dude,
like that must have hit hard.
that
Hey,
was that was the that was the hardest celebrity. I've never like I was like I remember I was just bummed that day. I was like, dude, like, and it just makes me like sad because it's like I don't know, dude. It's just like listen to his lyrics
yeah, it's all over
for,
the
for
music, man.
for 20 years.
Yeah,
It's like no one like we just the public just heard good songs and was just like cool. Like yeah, I'm numb. Like that's a, like
yeah.
like I don't know. It's crazy how that just kind of just went over. I don't know. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Like always, hindsight's always 2020 on those things, and it's crazy because as you hear a bunch of other people's music, like anytime something happens like that with a celebrity musician, or like a really, I mean, they were superstars. I
Yeah.
mean, one
Oh
of the
yeah.
biggest, bands of all time, and for something like that to happen with what the music was, just being out there for all those
Yeah.
years and just speaking to people exactly, how he was feeling essentially, you start to kind of analyze every other song then from a lot of other artists after that. Like, are they okay? You know what I mean? Like, you start questioning everything
Yeah.
because,
No, for sure.
these kind of things just kind of keep happening. And, yeah, man, that was a crazy one too. Like, I've always appreciated Linkin Park for who they were and what they
Hmm.
did. Their music's gonna live
I
forever.
wish I could have seen them on tour, as that would have been great. Makes
Yeah.
me want to make sure that I can see a couple people because I know like I've never seen Eminem live. Like I need that needs to happen. So like I don't know.
So another influence there
Oh
on the
yeah,
rap side.
man. I'm from Warren, Michigan. I mean, like I know a lot of people. I mean, like locally, like I can't. It's so weird how things work in this area because it's just like locally, I don't say I'm from Detroit, but whenever I get online and I have a conversation with people, I just say I'm from Detroit because I'm on 12 Mile and like 8 miles right there. It's literally 4 miles down the street. So like when I have a conversation with people, I'm just like, yo, there was a body found down the street from my house like a couple years ago, and there's been like hella shootings all throughout the city for the past like week. So it's like it it's a not, I live in the suburbs, like no lie, but like it's still kind of crazy out here. I
It's
don't know. So
yeah,
it's like right
no,
there.
I know what you mean. Milwaukee's kind of like that too. Like Milwaukee is very segregated, and you
Yeah.
have the suburbs right there, and there's certain parts where the suburb is kind of like in the middle of like the city. you know?
hmm
So like you have all this craziness going on around you,
hmm
but you're in like you're in a good
Yeah,
area,
that's how if you go to the one side of Detroit, that's how it is. Like for real, like it's Detroit, and then just that one road is right there, and on the other side is Grosse Pointe, and it's just like a nice ass city. It's just like it's almost crazy, but yeah, definitely Eminem. That was, I mean, in my personal opinion, hands down. If you talk about goat, that's M. Like he rhymes words that don't rhyme. Like, and like I know conversation with him is and all the, oh, he only rhymes words, that's all he can do. I hear a lot of people say
hmm
that, but that's my opinion. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
definitely.
I think he's definitely up there, man. He's got to be.
Yeah,
I mean, in my humble opinion,
sure.
got to
Yeah,
be at least top 10.
right.
Top. On my list, he's definitely like top five. Tell me about kind of what's in the works right now. Like, what kind of things have you been working on over the last year or so? What direction are you trying to head, and where do you see yourself going over the next couple of years here?
Right now I'm just kind of for me, my path of growth, or what I've seen work for me, has just been visuals. So what I'm trying to do right now is just work on creating singles. I've always enjoyed consuming albums, but the way that I understand the industry to be, and with the research that I've done, it just doesn't seem like it would be really too beneficial for me to put in a bunch of work and create an album uh, with the current following that I have. It just seems like it would just be discouraging. So I'm gonna continue to do what I've been doing. I'm gonna make some music videos, and I'm gonna start doing what I can to get them out there. I've been making way better songs. I feel like for a really long time I just kind of wanted to prove that I could rap, and I think I've done that. Like I've got a couple songs that if anyone was just like, "Yo, you can't rap," I got a couple, like my song "Jam." Like if anyone says I can't rap, go listen to that song and shut the fuck up, in my opinion. Like, because if you don't think that's me rapping my ass off, then I don't know what to tell you. So I think I've been focusing on kind of making songs now that sound good,
hmm
but I want to start collabing with other artists more. I've kind of been a little closed-minded to that, and one thing I try to do is be aware of my flaws. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's
hmm
a lot. I think that's one thing that artists don't do enough, is acknowledge their flaws. And I know that I'm kind of closed-minded when it comes to working with other artists. Just and I know it's an ego thing, but
Who are some people you'd want to work with? And when I ask that, like, who are some people that are kind of like on kind of your same level that you want to collab with, and then what are some like dream collabs that are out there?
well, first, obviously, I gotta say my man's Cryo Raps. Me and him, when we work together, it's just chemistry. You know what I'm saying? We
I
we make
agree.
really good music together. Thank you. So me and him have got two, I think three more songs in the works right now. Um, we're actually we've been like me and him are going to be doing a podcast here soon. We used to go live twice a week, and we would call that Artist Talk, and now we're just kind of reformatting that into a podcast. And so we're going to be doing that. We're also trying to come up with a group name, which has just been the most difficult thing in the world to do. Um, but we would like to kind of come up with a group that kind of represents both of us, and also doesn't have to just limit us in case anyone, I don't know. I've always been attracted to the idea of creating something like Funk Volume or Strange Music. Those have always been like the underground, kind of like
hmm
kingpin labels, even though Funk Volume doesn't exist anymore. And according to a lot of people, Strange isn't doing so hot. So I think it would be something. I think it would be sweet to see something kind of come up, and I think I know enough people to kind of to create something like that. And I think personally, and I know I might get chewed the fuck out by some people for this, but I think the problem with Strange and Funk Volume was that it was strange and funk volume, but it was also tech and hop. And I think that was the problem. And
Like they were too big for the label, you think? Like
kind of like, I think they just overshadowed everyone else. Ask a casual Tech Nine fan who's on his label right now, and I bet you half of them will say Ritz. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
So
which is funny. Yeah,
yeah, you know, like
yeah. No, I agree, man, and I think that's a really good point too. Like talking about the other labels and the ones that like over the past again where we started kind of listening to underground hip hop and like 10 years ago they were they were on the rise. Like Tech was already kind of reigning supreme by that time. Um, he was up there with like you had Strange Music, you had Rhyme Sayers, you had a couple other like underground labels, but then you had Funk Volume coming up like right as we started listening to underground hip hop.
yeah,
So like we got to see that label kind of come up and like watch and for me I was watching Hobson. Like I wasn't necessarily watching the label. So to your
yeah,
point, I think it does become kind of difficult when you have one main person on that label that has the core of the fan base and you're trying to kind of force those same listeners to listen to these other people on the label and
hmm,
you kind of have one of two things happen. Either one, the people you're going to have on your label are going to sound just like you and so naturally they're going to kind of like the other person, but then they're always going to think to themselves like but they're still not as good as like Tech, right?
yes,
or
exactly,
or you're gonna pull in people that like sound nothing like Tech, and then everyone's just gonna hate them because it's not their style of music. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's like a lose
yeah.
lose no
No,
matter which way you
it's a
slice it.
difficult game,
Sometimes.
but I think me and Crowd could do it. I think because I think one of the reasons me and him sound good together is because of the contrast
Yeah.
between us. So I think there's a couple artists. I'm not gonna say any names because I haven't reached out to anyone to speak to anybody, but there's a couple artists I've heard that I think are kind of sweet that I think could. It doesn't even have to be something super official, but I mean, me and Crowd didn't even have a name for what we would be. But obviously, I'm gonna keep making music with him. There's another local artist who's he's been doing his thing for a minute. I've respected him for a while, and honestly, I've felt that I needed to wait until I was more developed as an artist to reach out to him. I actually recently reached out to him to do a song that I just finished. His name is Drew Verde. I think I'm saying his that last part of that right. He he's basically like me. He mixes and masters his all his own music, shoots and edits all his own videos and stuff like that. He's been killing shit in my area. He can sing, he can rap. He's super cold. Want to get
Nice.
him on a record for sure. Do you know who Minus is? Have you ever heard of Minus?
Oh, I've heard of Minus, man. Of
Yeah. Okay.
course.
Dumb
Of
question.
course.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's been killing it for a
Yeah. I was
long
gonna
time.
say he's been
Yeah.
killing shit, especially this year.
Mm-hmm.
But that again, that might just I might have to hold it a little bit because I think I know where I stand. I know that I'm dope. Um, but I think I might have to hold off on a little bit with him because if I do a video or if I do a song with him, I'm gonna want to do a video. So I know that means I'm gonna have to make sure that I have the budget to fly out to where he is because I know he's not gonna come to me. So if I do something like that, like I said, I'm a
But
visual person.
I'm sure for the right price,
Oh
you can
yeah,
make
oh
anything
yeah,
happen.
no,
But
no, no, for sure,
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah. It probably
sure.
makes more
So
sense to go out and
mhm.
shoot out there and stuff. I think that'd be a cool collab, man. I I definitely like Minus. He's I've probably been watching him just about the same amount of time as probably you have, and
Yeah,
over the last few years, like he's always killed it, but like over the last like 1 to 2 years,
yeah, no, he's been going crazy.
he's
This
been
year he's been
extra
going
killing it.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
that he did a song with Crooked Eye, Dizzy Wright. Like,
yeah.
damn, he's been going nuts.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And then
Who are some dream collabs, man?
I don't know, man. Like obviously, like I mean, like I'd like to work with Hobson. Obviously, NF would be crazy because he's from Michigan too. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like some people I'm gonna just stay away from. I feel like it's I don't know. It's weird. Like it's not that I don't. I feel like it's weird for a couple reasons because I feel like when things like that happen, like expectations just get real high.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I don't ever want to disappoint my fans by doing a song with someone that they know is a huge influence to me and then disappoint. And then I also, there's a couple artists that even if I don't ever get a collab from, that's fine. I want to grind and get noticed and have them reach out to me. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, and if that never happens, that's fine. But yeah, that's the path I want to go with a couple of people.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That makes sense to me. You always want to be ready for that next step. You know what I mean? So, when
Yeah.
the opportunity arises, if you're ready, then you know what's going to happen and things are going to fall into place.
Hmm.
Nothing worse than forcing it. And I've seen that way too much over the years, man. I'm sure you have too. You see a rapper get on a song with a bigger artist, and it's like it's clear that they just all they did was shell out the $500 to $1,000, and they got their feature.
Yeah, no
But
doubt.
they're just not like the overall quality of the song just isn't there to
Yeah.
match the feature. And
I've
so
seen I've seen I've seen more than a handful of artists from the underground just I don't know where they get this budget from, but just get like some pretty semi-established artists on records and just I'm just like,
yeah, I'd love to
okay.
know. I'd love to know, man, because it's hilarious to me, you know, watching watching the underground, man. Like there's a lot of really talented artists out here that just don't get any recognition, and like that's part of the reason why I want to do the vlog too. You know what I mean? Like I want to get people on here that make good music, and just so you know too, like I wouldn't have you on here if I thought your music was crap. You know what I
I
mean? Like
appreciate that for real.
I think you have a really good music out there, and I see you improving. Um, I don't think you've reached your final form yet,
For
but
sure.
I think you're on your way, and I think over the next like 1 to 2 years, I think that's when we're gonna start seeing, um, just that exponential growth
Hell yeah.
in quality all the way around. Like you got a lot of stuff on lock already, so watching you grow over the
Thank you.
next year or two, like I want people to recognize that, and I want people to pay attention to that. And where can people like tap into your music right now? Like where can people find you?
Um, so I know it's pretty standard for an artist to say who's kind of doing things seriously, but it's everywhere. So it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, basically wherever you consume music, it's there. It's if you go to my YouTube channel, everything's I think there's one video that has like a kind of like stagnant moving image, you know what I'm saying, where it kind of just goes back and forth, and then there's a lyric video, but all the other videos have have an actual music video to them. Some are official music videos, some are just studio microphone videos, but they
Yeah.
all have videos. And then I got my website where I got all my merch at. I got shirts, hats, hoodies, jackets, fuzzy warm hoodies that are zip ups. I got all types of stuff on there.
Yeah, I was seeing the merch on the website. If you want to shout out that website,
Yeah,
whatever.
MosarieMusic.com. I don't know if you can kind of like put that somewhere on the
It's
screen.
gonna happen, man. It's gonna be right down in the description below. So
Awesome.
everybody, make sure you go check out that. Follow him on all social media. Check out his store. On his website there, you can buy some of his merch. You can find some of his music there as well. And yeah, man, I'm pumped to see what happens over the next year or two. I'm probably gonna have to ban you from the vlog once you start podcasting. But got to get rid of the competition. But no,
Yeah.
I'm just playing. But
No, you
no,
good?
no, yeah, yeah, man, I'm excited to see that too because I've been tuning into that too. When you and Cryo start talking about like doing artist talk and stuff like that, like that that's what kind of triggered me to do the interview, because I'm like I've
Right.
always listened to your music and I've heard your drops and stuff, and like I always thought you were good. And then the more I started like watching you like interact and just talk music, and like you just seem like a chill dude and like somebody that works hard, and wants to keep improving. And those artist talk, man, I think those are going to go great. So I,
Thank
I
you.
hope I hope you guys really do something with that and start pushing that out there. And um, you always got a spot over here.
Yeah,
So
very cool, man. Yeah, this is cool, man. I'd like to like, definitely catch me on again in the future for update or whatever.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I don't want to forget either. You did just drop, and I know this is coming out in the next few days here, so people are
Sure.
people are already going to be recovering. But you did just drop a 420 song today.
Yep.
So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Uh, yeah, sure, man. It's actually kind of funny that I think it's crazy that I haven't actually made like I've always made references to smoking in my songs, but I've never made a smoking song before. So it's kind of crazy that it took me this long to do it. Which is why I did the cliche 420 release because I was like, I've been making music for this long and haven't ever made a stoner song before. So I'm releasing it on 420. I had it in the vault and was just kind of ready to go. So
The video was looking nice, man. The video was crispy.
yeah,
It was
thank
good.
you,
It was good.
thank you. Yeah,
So
videos are gonna just keep getting better, better.
yeah, I mean, I think it was literally, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this at all. For everybody that's watching this that made a 420 song, I think it was the only 420 song I actually listened to today
My man,
because we were doing this interview.
that's awesome.
So to everybody else that dropped the 420 song, just know I didn't see it, I didn't watch it, I didn't care. But
My man.
this one you should check out because it's fire. And if I'm approving, then that should say just how good it is, you know?
Yes,
Because I
sir.
never
Smoke a
listen
lot
to
streaming on
420
all
songs.
platforms. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Smoke a lot's out now. It's streaming on all platforms. Music videos up on my YouTube channel. Shout out to all the people involved with that. That shit was sweet.
it's a small world out there because I know we were talking earlier about the guy who shot it and,
Yeah, shout out
across.
Big Tilt Media, man. That's my
Yeah,
man. Real talk.
yeah. Joseph is he's a beast with the camera. I've watched him
Yeah.
over the years, so it's cool
Yeah.
to see him
Yeah.
coming up too.
Yeah. Shout out Joseph with Big Tilt Media and shout out Todd Campos with Rook Clothing for hooking me up with the t-shirt. So that was sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what else you got, man? What else you want to let people know? Like anything else about you or the music or anything you want to tell people?
I mean, I'm honestly, man, I'm a boring person to be honest. I like to keep to myself really and make music really. Like I have a couple of like me and Nick have got a good working relationship where we kick it probably maybe once or twice a week, give or take.
Wait a
Um,
second. Wait a second. Who's Nick?
oh my God, I'm sorry,
Who,
Cryo.
who's this Nick person you speak of? I
I
don't know
forget.
Nick.
Yeah,
No.
that's Cryo's real name. He actually,
Okay.
man, he when I started teaching myself audio engineering, when I got to a certain point, I kind of stopped teaching myself for watching tutorials and stuff on engineering, and I made a hard pivot into video. And when I did my first collab with Nick, the thing I didn't Cryo, I'm sorry. The one thing I didn't like was, and I'm sure some people didn't even notice because they aren't trained to listen that way, but the audio difference between his and my verse. It's even like that on Get 'em too, but we fixed that with Go Time because we're more experienced with it now. But
Go time is fire, man. Go
thank
time.
you.
It
Yeah,
was. I was feeling like it was go time.
yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, yeah. Me and him, I think we're gonna continue to play off that energy for. I think our videos are gonna be more of like a comedic, playful type vibe. I think that works for us. This next one, the next song that we have is called Not Me Now. So we have 3 songs and they're all his songs. Like he's featured me on 3 of his records. This next one is my song. And I'll send it to you as soon as we're done here and you can tell me what you
Okay.
think of it. Um, but
See
I
if people want the scoop, they got to start their own vlogs, man. They got to
yeah,
get their own
that's
podcasts, their own
true.
vlogs.
Yeah.
You start
Yep.
getting the music sooner.
It's true. It's true. Maybe when we release that, that's when we can do the update video.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Just know this ain't gonna be the end of you on here either. I'm gonna make sure that we do this every once in a while and
Yeah, for sure. This is
keep
cool.
updating people and letting them know the progress along the way and yeah, guys. I mean, I can't recommend enough. Like, go check this dude out. Um, on everywhere. Like I said, the description's gonna be having all the links and everything for you. So all you gotta do is go down below this video and click on a link. That's it. That's all it takes. Go check out the music, support a really good underground hip hop artist, and go check out their podcast after you check mine out, of course, and make sure you always give me a view first before you check out theirs.
Yes,
But as
sir.
long as you do that, like we're good. No, No, but for real, guys, like go check it out. You know, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears goes into making music, and you know, I know you're putting in work, man. So
Thank you.
thanks for coming on, man. Like,
Yeah, for
it's
sure, man.
been
Thanks for having me.
yeah, no problem, man. It's been a pleasure. So, one last time for the people, how do you say that name?
Mosarie Music.
Mosarie Music. I only messed it up like 12 times before we started recording, but I made sure that it
13,
was on
14.
lock
No.
all throughout this video.
You did.
The one
You
time
did.
that I said it in the beginning, just to make sure that I had it on lock. So
That's love though, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, no problem, man. All right, guys. Again, my name's Joe K. It's another day in the underground. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Mosarie.
Yeah, there you go.
Mosarie. Freaking 25. I feel like I'm like summoning the freaking demon from hell. Like the freaking 420 demon dude is coming
That's
out.
hilarious. That's I like that. The 420 demon. That's cold.